Welcome to NTD Evening News. Our top story tonight, Super Bowl 60 is happening tonight in San Francisco, while three old fans who have been to every Super Bowl meet up for the last time. And with game day here, Mike Leon joins us for last-minute predictions as the Patriots and Seahawks face off. Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi sweeping to a landslide election win, securing her a supermajority in parliament. President Trump invited the Japanese leader to visit the White House next month. What does Takaichi's supermajority win mean for U.S.-Japan relations and the region? And what's the likelihood of China coming under a new nuclear arms control after the New START treaty expired? Grant Newsham joins us. President Trump has harsh words for Olympic skier Hunter Hess after his interview during an Olympics press conference. Find out what irritated the president. And freezing temperatures are still hitting New York City. Emergency teams are remaining on high alert in case anyone needs help.
This is NTD Evening News, live from our global headquarters in New York City.
Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Tiffany Meyer. Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi sweeping to a landslide election earlier today, securing a supermajority in the parliament. Japanese media reports her ruling coalition has won more than two-thirds of the lower house, the more powerful of the country's two-chamber parliament. The big win is paving the way for Takaichi's agenda, which aims to boost Japan's economy and military capabilities to counter China. NTD's Flora Hua has the story.
Japan's ruling coalition led by Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi secured a landslide election victory on Sunday. Based on results of early vote counts, Takaichi's Liberal Democratic Party alone had won at least 289 seats. With the coalition partner, Takaichi now has a supermajority in Japan's lower house, meaning her legislative agenda can override the upper chamber, which she does not control. Takaichi called the early election only after 3 months in office. Washington is closely watching Japan's election. In a Truth Social post last Friday, Trump gave Takaichi his total endorsement and says he plans to host her at the White House in March. Takaichi thanked President Trump via her social media on Sunday, saying she's looking forward to the visit and hopes to continue to boost the U.S.-Japan alliance. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent called Takaichi a great ally on Fox News Sunday Morning Futures Watch.
Japan, the Prime Minister called a snap election, the quickest snap election in Japanese history, and boy, has she had a big victory today. She's going to have two-thirds majority in the upper house. President Trump endorsed her last week. She is a great ally, great relationship with the president. And when Japan is strong, the U.S. is strong in Asia.
The U.S. ambassador to Japan, George Glass, also congratulated the Prime Minister, calling the result a magnificent victory. The result comes as tensions between Japan and China over Taiwan grow. Last year, Takaichi warned that any Chinese attack on the island could trigger a military response from Japan. Takaichi is Japan's first female leader who says she's inspired by Britain's Iron Lady, Margaret Thatcher. Takaichi is scheduled to hold a press conference tomorrow. Flora Hua, NTD News.
Today's show anchor Savannah Guthrie telling the kidnapper of her mother, Nancy Guthrie, Saturday her family will pay for their mother's release. Take a listen.
We received your message and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us and we will pay.
Police today were reportedly seen searching a septic tank out behind Nancy Guthrie's home. No information was released about the search. Officials believe Guthrie was abducted from her home in Arizona last Sunday. Purported ransom notes asked the Guthrie family for millions in Bitcoin for their mother's return. The ransom notes had a second deadline on Monday. Meanwhile, officials are investigating whether a second ransom note sent to a local news station is legitimate. The note has sensitive information and no deadline. Now, the big question is whether Nancy Guthrie is still alive. Law enforcement said she needs medication daily to survive. If she doesn't get it within 24 hours, the results can be fatal. Law enforcement still has not located any suspect. The FBI has offered $50,000 for tips on Nancy Guthrie's whereabouts. 84-year-old Nancy is Savannah Guthrie's only living parent. President Trump lambasted Olympic skier Hunter Hess today, days after the athlete expressed mixed feelings about representing the U.S. at the Milano Cortina Winter Olympics in Italy. Here's more.
During a press event for the 2026 Games, Hess's comments raised eyebrows.
It brings up mixed emotions to represent the U.S. right now, I think. It's a little hard. There's obviously a lot going on that I'm not the biggest fan of, and I think a lot of people aren't. I think for me, it's more I'm representing my friends and family back home, the people that represent it before me, all the things that I believe are good about the U.S.
Hess is competing in the men's free ski halfpipe. According to the U.S. team's ski and snowboarding website, Hess is from Oregon, and he learned to ski right in his hometown. He's been on the Olympic team for 10 years. He shared more about his feelings of being on the U.S. team.
Just because I'm wearing the flag doesn't mean I represent everything that's going on in the U.S. So yeah, I just kind of want to do it for my friends and my family and the people that support me getting here.
President Trump responded on Truth Social in a post saying Hess shouldn't have tried out for the team if he doesn't feel he represents his country and that it's hard to root for him. Congressman Byron Donalds posted to X with a video clip from Hess's interview. Donalds wrote that some things are bigger than politics and that Hess should go home if it's too hard to represent the U.S. in Italy. Decorated former college swimmer Riley Gaines seemed to also respond to Hess. She posted a video of female wrestler Tamara Mensah-Stock at the 2020 Tokyo Olympic Games. In the video, she is elated to hold the American flag and is gushing with love for the U.S. Hunter Hess's accomplishments include garnering 2 bronze medals at the X Games and finishing on the podium 4 times for the Freestyle Ski World Cup.
3-time Olympic medalist Lindsey Vonn crashed in her run Sunday, bringing her Olympic downhill dream to an end. She had started the games with a ruptured ACL. Vonn burst out of the start in the final, but caught a gate with her right arm after just 13 seconds, sending her tumbling down the slope. The 41-year-old was then airlifted off the course as the crowd stood to applaud her.
It's such a huge loss and bummer. I feel like hearing her story and just the redemption of her first fall and fighting to come back to the Olympics this year, I feel so sad for her, and I'm sure we're not alone in that feeling.
In a short statement posted on social media, the U.S. ski and snowboard team said Lindsey Vonn fell in the Olympic downhill and will be evaluated by medical staff. It was always going to be a risk for Vonn to compete at this year's Games. That's after she suffered a serious injury this January. Vonn's sister, Karen Kildall, told NBC that the crash was scary to see. She also said Vonn would have no regrets about her decision to compete and that Vonn always goes 110%. There's never anything less. Well, this year's Super Bowl 60 is going to happen tonight. The last 3 dedicated fans who have attended every Super Bowl since the first one in 1967 are gathering to meet up for the last time. Let's take a look.
You need help getting around sometimes, and I think it's just time to put it to bed. I've thought about it quite a bit, and it came close to making that decision this year. But my friends and the other members of the group keep edging me on, and then I could see my Patriots were doing pretty well, and I thought, well, there's a chance I could see them at this final game.
It wouldn't feel like the Super Bowl without all 3 of them together, and this might be the last time. 3 octogenarian friends, the only remaining members of the Never Miss a Super Bowl Club, are attending their 60th game. Don Chrisman from Maine, Tom Henschel from Florida, and Gregory Eaton of Michigan have been to every one since 1967. Chrisman and Henschel say age, mobility issues, and rising costs mean this is likely their final trip, though they've said that before. Eaton plans to keep going as long as he's able. And with Super Bowl 60 kicking off very shortly, what are some game day predictions and previews to watch for? Joining us now is Mike Leon, lead anchor at the Legal Podcast Network and host of the news commentary podcast, Can We Please Talk? Mike, thank you so much for joining us. Great to have you. Super Bowl 60 is here. A lot of buzz around it since the Patriots and Seahawks last faced off in 2015, where the Pats won 28-24. As for who's going to win this time, here's actually President Trump weighing in. Let's watch that.
I have a feeling this is going to be a great Super Bowl. I've watched all season. I've seen these two teams just win, win, win. And I see two great quarterbacks, young, great quarterbacks. It's going to be a fantastic Super Bowl, and everybody wants to hear who I pick. And I'll tell you what.
So rather diplomatic take there, if you will. Who's your pick, though, to win tonight?
It's kind of like the Sopranos ending right there back in the day, Tiffany. It's good to see you, first and foremost. You know, I don't miss Super Bowl Sunday when I used to be a producer at ESPN, would have to work the game like this. So first, shout out to the people that work the events. Sports are always on at the most inconvenient times, right? So there's a lot of people working today's game. But in terms of what the president said there, he got a few things right there. Drake May is a young quarterback for the Patriots. They've had a renaissance now from last year being one of the worst teams in the league, firing their coach, bringing back Mike Vrabel, who is now their head coach, and he's taken them to a 14-3 record and now has them again in the Super Bowl where they're very comfortable playing in. And then on the other side, you got the Seahawks and their second-year coach, Mike McDonald, and he's got, the Seahawks here after going 10-7 last year, taking over for Pete Carroll, who played and won a Super Bowl, took the Seahawks, to a Super Bowl back in the day, like you mentioned, Tiffany. So who do I got winning today? I'm not going to give the black screen like the president did there. I think the Seahawks are going to win today's game. I think the Seahawks have the better defense. I think they have some of the better skill position players. And I think Sam Darnold, the story is with him. He's a former number 1 overall draft pick of the New York Jets. He's kind of bottomed out at a couple different teams. But last year he had a great year with the Minnesota Vikings. He had the exact same record. They let him go because they drafted somebody else. It's a redemption arc for him as he now is back in the Super Bowl with a completely different team, completely different receivers, running backs. It's incredible to watch. I hope that they win it tonight for Sam Darnold and he takes down the Super Bowl MVP.
I mean, to your point, there is a lot of focus on Sam Darnold, and it looks like the Seahawks are winning in the betting realm for sure there. What would a Seahawks win mean here, though, tonight?
Well, I think it would put them back, in terms of the NFC West, which is a very tough division. They just played the Rams, obviously, in the championship game. Another team that's in the NFC West, the 49ers, were in the playoffs this year. So it would kind of put the NFC on notice. I thought the Eagles were going to have a little bit of a run here, Tiffany, over these last few years. They lost, obviously, their playoff game to an NFC West team with the Niners earlier. So I think a Seahawk win will I think it shows the league really that, the quarterback position, you do have to nail it down, but as long as you have the good coaching around it, because Darnold, like I said, he was with other franchises and he just never panned out with some of those franchises. I'm sure Jet fans, and I've spoken to a bunch, they're in my family. One of them is related to me, he's my father. They're upset that Sam Darnold, was let go so early and wasn't given the proper, a system around him and the skill position around him, because look at what he's blossomed into. Like I said, 2 different years, 2 different teams, same exact record. He's got one now in the Super Bowl, and he's just moments away from not only playing in one, but potentially winning one.
And on the flip side for the Patriots, Tom Brady is in here, but as you mentioned, there is a lot of focus on Drake May. If the Patriots win, could we see the start of another Patriots dynasty?
Boy, I hope not, Tiffany. That's going to make me cry because I'm a Raiders fan and Tom Brady fumbled and it led to him starting that ascension and my misery. Look, everybody in New England, anybody in the greater Boston area will tell you that they loved drafting Drake May. The Patriots had a different coach, like I mentioned last year, in Gerard Mayo. And the reason they let go of Gerard Mayo outside of his 4-13 record was because they felt like he wasn't coaching Drake May properly. They felt like they couldn't fail this kid. They didn't want him to become a Sam Darnold, a talented kid, drafted high, really high grades in the NFL Combine and in the draft. And they wanted to build around this kid, and they got the right coach in Mike Vrabel, who took Tennessee to the playoffs a bunch. And obviously now he's got them back in the Super Bowl. So it really speaks volume. You can solidify the position through the draft. You can also do it through free agency like the Seahawks did with Darnold, but it's the coaching around it. Both of these coaches have really come in, Vrabel year 1, McDonald year 2, really changed the culture, and they've really put the pieces in place. Drafting, scouting, free agent signings. Like this is really a symbol for those teams out there that are not doing so well to look to the Patriots and Seahawks on how to rebuild your roster, but it's got to start with the coaching staff.
And Mike, it's not just the teams. The commercials have also been getting a lot of focus, from Jurassic Park, Andy Samberg for Hellmann's Mayonnaise, Pepsi stealing Coca-Cola's Polar Bear, and of course Budweiser. Actually, I want to play part of that now. The line, "Are you crying? The sun's in my eyes." It does seem Budweiser knows how to elicit tears. What did you make of that ad, and do you have a favorite from the sneak peek so far?
Yeah, none so far. I'll be tuned in, right around that first commercial break that we'll get maybe at the 14, 13-minute mark. But, Budweiser, it doesn't surprise me that they've always had great ads. We know them from whenever, back in the day, Budweiser, those famous ads from back in the day. So it doesn't shock me that their marketing team was able to put together, maybe an agency did that ad, but was able to put something together like this around the Super Bowl. And I saw that it's been getting a lot of play on social media as well. And it's apropos given the political climate right now. So it has kind of like that dual messaging where it could be speaking to Republicans, it could be speaking to liberals. Like it's very well played that you just played that for me there. But, the Super Bowl ads, Tiffany, the one thing I've always noticed with this is just the amount of money that's not only put into the ads, but how much it costs for just 60 seconds of time when people's attention spans are maybe 60 seconds, if that. It's incredible to see some of these companies dole out money around the biggest sporting event because they know they'll get the most exposure for it. Anheuser-Busch is doing that as well, but I'll be interested to see what some of these ads look like. There's a few out there, the John Hamm, Scarlett Johansson, Bowen Yang one. I'm interested to kind of see what that ad looks like. I believe it's a Cheez-It ad, but we'll see if it's cheesy.
Well, we'll see for sure. But fresh off his Grammy win, Bad Bunny is promising to bring a dance party to the halftime show tonight. There's been a lot of buzz actually around who might take the stage as a surprise guest, because Bad Bunny was actually a surprise guest for the 2020 Super Bowl halftime show that was headlined by Jennifer Lopez and Shakira. Any guesses on who might be a surprise performer or performers tonight?
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought up Bad Bunny because, I'm a Puerto Rican kid. My family grew up in the town where Bad Bunny was originally born in Bayamon, and then he moved over to Vega Baja. So to see a Puerto Rican grace the stage for the second time, I know Jennifer Lopez is a New Yorker like me, right? Grew up in the Bronx and stuff like that. But to actually see somebody from the island and what he's done around not only reggaeton and crossing over with his acting on SNL and what he did with the WWE once upon a time a few years ago, he has been able to transcend the sport. But in terms of his performance overall, first off, folks, it's 20 minutes. Just keep the TV on, go take a break if you don't like the halftime show, or watch the halftime show. But I think he'll have J Balvin there. Him and J Balvin is another known reggaeton artist that Bad Bunny and him did an album together, and they have a few hits together. I don't know on the U.S. side, like who he would do something with. He does have a very famous song with Drake once upon a time called MIA, aka Mia. So I don't know if he'll do something like that. Maybe he'll reciprocate the favor with Jennifer Lopez. They do have a couple of hits together, and he does have a hit with Cardi B. So there could be some interest there of Cardi B. Obviously, she's been very vocal about a bunch of different things in politics. And so maybe there's something there, but those are just some of the hints I would give people, just given the collaborations they've already done in the music space.
Well, on that note, seems we'll know pretty soon. So, Mike Leon, thank you so much for joining us, and happy game day.
Thanks, Tiffany. You too.
Coming up, what does Takaichi supermajority win mean for U.S.-Japan relations and the region? And what's the likelihood of China coming under a new nuclear arms control after the New START treaty expired? Grant Newsham joins us. And Ukraine suffered Russian strikes that hit its energy grid, nuclear facilities, and thermal power plants, bringing new fears as temperatures plummet.
Shen Yun Creations, the streaming platform from Shen Yun, featuring world-class dance, past programs, and all original music. Masterclasses, behind the scenes, comedy, and more. Explore shenyuncreations.com.
What if kids in America didn't have to go to bed hungry tonight? What if our moms, dads, and grandparents could put healthy food on the table every day to help us grow strong? What if all of our friends and neighbors had fresh food too, and there was no hunger at all in America? And what if there was a way today for you to help? Call now or go online to helpfeedingamerica.org and give $19 a month, just 63 cents a day. So many of us don't have enough food to eat, but your monthly gift means families across the country and in your community can fill plates with food. Kids can get healthy meals year-round, even when school's out, and our neighbors can have fresh food. Food that moms, dads, entire families need to thrive. But right now, more people are facing hunger. Feeding America works from coast to coast with partner food banks, food pantries, and meal programs. It takes all of us to make that happen. Will you help too? Please call the number on your screen or go online to helpfeedingamerica.org and give just $19 a month, and we'll send you this free canvas grocery bag. It's our way of saying thank you for helping to end hunger for our neighbors. Because no kid, no mom or dad, nobody should go hungry in America. Nobody. So what if today was the day you could help nourish futures for our friends, our families, for all of us? Ending hunger is possible. What if we end it together? Call or give online today at helpfeedingamerica.org and your gift can be doubled. Thank you.
Did you know that the Presidential Savings Event is going on now at Mathis Home? Hundreds of items have been marked down, like this oversized downfill sofa for just $9.99. It's a great combination of scale, comfort, and value. And like many of the sofas here, it's customizable. Choose from hundreds of fabric options and pay the same low price. There's also many different configurations to choose from. Come see why we're your furniture leader during the Presidential Savings Event at Mathis Home.
Welcome back. I'm Tiffany Meyer. Now that Japan's Takaichi has secured a supermajority, what's next for the region and relations with the U.S.? And would the next nuclear arms control treaty include China now that the New START treaty has expired? The U.S. this week accusing China of conducting secret nuclear tests in 2020, using decoupling to mask seismic signals and evade global monitors. China has dismissed the claims as hype. Joining us now to unpack all of this is former diplomat and retired Marine Colonel Grant Newsham. He's a senior fellow at the Center for Security Policy and author of When China Attacks. Grant, thank you so much for joining us. Great to have you. Now, Takaichi thanking President Trump for his warm words regarding the election, adding, quote, "Our alliance and friendship with the United States of America are built on deep trust and close, strong cooperation. The potential of our alliance is limitless." Now that Takaichi's coalition has secured a supermajority, what does that mean for U.S.-Japan relations and the region?
Well, for U.S.-Japan relations, we'll get out of it what we put into it. But you have a Japan that is now willing to really make its defense useful. The Japanese military is not even the sum of its parts, but it has the potential to be a good, solid military. It also, except for the two navies, doesn't work very well with U.S. forces. So Japan can improve its own defense. At the same time, the Americans and the Japanese can have a really sort of a force that combines the two, and that gives you sort of an exponential sort of improvement in U.S. Japanese free world capabilities in the Pacific. Regionally, you just might get a solidly linked U.S. and a very capable military and also political and economic alignment that actually bolsters the sort of the free world up that a ways. And the Chinese don't like this. They don't like it when their intended victims actually link up and are actually able to defend themselves. So the only people who really don't like what happened today are in Beijing, but for the U.S. and the region, and most of the region does like Japan and wants to see it play a more assertive role militarily. I think they like what they saw.
And inside Japan, reports are saying this paves the way for tax cuts. What can we expect on the financial front in Japan, and does that create a buffer for China or against China?
Well, the Japanese really do need to do something about their tax system. They can't figure out why the economy really hasn't thrived, why people don't have families and children. Well, the Japanese citizens, if you live there for a while, it seems like they exist to be fleeced by the elite class. They have incredibly high taxes and very low salaries, so they're left with almost no money to spend. So the first prime minister who comes along and says, I'm going to cut taxes, and actually does it so that people have more money, you're going to see a knock-on psychological effect that's going to benefit the economy. So in Japan, which has a decent economy, a strong economy, that translates into sort of the ability to build a stronger military as well, and also more confidence. So Japan does need to do something. Takaichi does need to do something on the economic front because the Japanese citizens, the people who voted for her in huge numbers, voted for her party, they actually expect something, and she's going to have to deliver on that.
I want to switch gears now to nuclear threats, because there's been a lot of focus since the New START treaty expired between the U.S. and Russia this week. One of the big revelations of that was the U.S. accusing China of conducting secret nuclear tests in 2020. First, what's your reaction to the tests?
Well, I'm not surprised. I think the Americans knew about it a lot sooner, but I don't think they wanted to reveal it for whatever reason until now. But it just doesn't surprise me. There isn't a sort of a treaty or an agreement that the Chinese have ever signed that they haven't violated. But also it demonstrates as well China's objective, which is to have a nuclear arsenal that is so powerful that nobody will challenge them. And that's their objective, and that's where they aim to get.
On that note, there is also reports that China wants to expand its arsenal to 1,000 warheads by 2030. Secretary of State Marco Rubio actually saying this marks a new era for nuclear arms control, one that must confront both Russia and China. How likely are we to see a broader arms control treaty that would bring in China as well as Russia?
I don't think we're very likely to see that. I think the Chinese would not have much interest in signing it. The Russians as well, I don't think they're particularly keen to do that as well. But the American administration has to sort of thread a needle here, because it's trying to point out just how threatening the Chinese and the Russian nuclear arsenals are and what those two countries are doing. And at the same time, it has to act like it wants a treaty. And here's the problem, is that if they do push really strongly for a treaty, you're kind of undercutting the argument that you need to make on Capitol Hill for the spending to build up our own nuclear arsenals, which need to be improved and quickly. Because the argument will be, well, if you're going to have a treaty where everyone reduces their nuclear weapons, why are we going to build more of them? So the administration is talking about this, but I think they have no illusions as to the willingness of the Chinese or the Russians to join in. And with the Chinese, Henry Kissinger said, he figured it out 50 years too late, but he said, we see fixable problems. And solving one of them actually is, for us, that's a solution. To the Chinese, that's just an admission ticket to other problems that they're going to raise and to solve. So it really would solve nothing if you got the Chinese to agree to something like a nuclear arms treaty here. They're just not interested in it, and their objective is very different than what we would expect.
And Grant, looking ahead, what are you watching for in terms of where U.S.-China relations are headed, given there's no trade deal signed yet and regional tensions around Japan, Philippines, and Taiwan?
I'm waiting to see if America really does what it needs to do to stand up to China. And that includes rebuilding the military, getting our industrial base in order, getting our finances in order, and also getting our allies to actually do more as we tell them to do. And there's some room for optimism on the side of with the Japanese. I'm a little concerned that we might try too hard to make a sort of a trade agreement, reach some sort of an agreement with the Chinese that maybe gives up a little too much and lets them get away with too much. I think, though, that Mr. Trump probably understands the threat from the PRC. And he's, I think, hamstrung because of the way they have played their rare earth dominance against us. And that really stopped him in his tracks. But I think he knows what the threat is. And in some ways, you wonder if he's like a man saying to an angry dog, well, good doggy, while he's looking around for a big stick to hit them with. That comes from Richard Armitage. But I hope that that's what Mr. Trump is thinking. But the Chinese are not letting up. Their objectives are very clear. And we either stand up to them, and along with our friends, and that includes Japan and Takaichi and others that want to join in, or else we're going to find ourselves in a very dangerous position before long.
Well, Grant Newsham, as always, thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you. Glad to be here.
Russia attacked the southern Ukrainian city of Kherson overnight on Saturday. Regional officials posted on Telegram 8 women were injured.
The State Emergency Service released a video of the aftermath, which has not been independently verified. The previous night, Russia carried out a mass attack on Ukraine's energy infrastructure, causing widespread emergency power outages and damaging nuclear facilities. It comes as freezing temperatures returned, with Ukraine's capital Kyiv forecast to see temperatures drop to -2 degrees Fahrenheit. Ukraine's President Zelensky said the strike hit facilities crucial to the operation of Ukraine's nuclear power plants. The country's nuclear plants reduced power usage after the attack, while one shut down as a result. Zelensky said the attack involved more than 400 drones and some 40 missiles of various types. Ukraine's energy minister said the strikes also hit 2 thermal power stations in Ukraine's western regions. Ukraine's largest private energy company said Ukraine lost a significant portion of available electricity and there were difficult days ahead. It said residents in Kyiv can expect a maximum of 1.5 to 2 hours of light per day. Meanwhile, a Greek joint venture has signed its first deal to supply U.S. liquefied natural gas to Ukraine in March. Zelensky said last week the country has significantly diversified its natural gas supplies. The company, Atlantic Sea LNG Trade, is seeking a long-term deal for up to 20 years to supply southern Europe. This would help replace current Russia gas imports, which Europe plans to stop by late 2027. Ukraine has also been ramping up imports of U.S. LNG through its strategic partnership with Poland.
Extreme cold weather continues for New York City as Arctic air lingers. The city remains in code blue, so emergency teams remain ready to respond. NTD's Sean Marshall has more.
New York City Emergency Management warns that current temperatures below 20 degrees Fahrenheit can cause frostbite in a matter of minutes. Officials are urging New Yorkers to stay indoors whenever possible and to call 311 if they see anyone out in the cold that may need help. Not everyone is staying indoors, though. In Central Park, police and rangers are on high alert, keeping people off of the ice. Even though there are many videos on social media of people walking and skating on the ice, doing so is strictly prohibited and dangerous. Rescue ladders can be found around bodies of frozen water just in case the ice breaks and someone falls in. And even with temperatures staying below 20 degrees Fahrenheit, many can be seen walking and running around like it's just another day in the park.
To remind New Yorkers, this is the coldest weather conditions that we have experienced in this city for 8 years.
New York City intensified emergency outreach efforts on Friday as dangerously cold temperatures returned, with Mayor Zohran Mamdani warning that extreme weather has already proven deadly for some of the city's most vulnerable residents.
The city remains in code blue. which means that we are intensifying outreach, that we are conducting round-the-clock checks, and have loosened traditional shelter intake procedures to accommodate as many New Yorkers as possible. 311 calls are being rerouted to 911, so help gets there faster. And we are immensely grateful for the 911 operators who serve as the connective tissue of our emergency operations.
The city is working with the state to redirect mental health teams to focus on life-saving street and subway outreach. Umdani said the city has opened 10 new warming shelters since last Friday and added 7 health and hospital centers across all 5 boroughs. 10 additional warming buses have also been deployed at key locations. According to AccuWeather forecasters, the cold storm pattern is not quite over yet. Long-range meteorologists have been monitoring the possibility of another winter storm to develop across the eastern United States near the second week of February, including Valentine's Day weekend. Sean Marshall, NTD News.
Coming up, February 6th marks Ronald Reagan's 115th birthday. His vision of economic freedom, limited government, and strong American leadership continues to inspire. NTD's Christina Corona reports on the event when we come back.
Is deep-sea fish oil really healthy? Due to pollution in the oceans, most fish contain heavy metal elements and radioactive substances. That's why it's so important to choose a pure source of omega-3. Puritan Green Vegetable Omega-3 is made from purslane and perilla seeds, which are rich in nutrients and minerals. It effectively improves brain power and is beneficial to the heart's health. Puritan Green Vegetable Omega-3. Eat 2 a day and you'll feel brand new.
I'm Amy Grant, and I want to talk to you from my heart about the heart. I would have been the last person on the list to say this woman has a problem with her heart. So no, there was nothing about my life that said, you have a ticking time bomb in your chest. But I did. I wound up in the office of a cardiologist because I was there with my husband. And at the tail end of that, the cardiologist looked at me and said, I want to see you. No one was more surprised than I was to learn I was living with a rare heart condition. He said, Amy, this condition, you'll be fine, and then catastrophic. A few months later, I had open heart surgery that saved my life. And I owe it to the research and life-saving medical breakthroughs developed by the American Heart Association. That's why I'm asking you to join me and become a monthly donor to the American Heart Association. Please call now or go to helpheart.org. For only $19 a month, just 63 cents a day, you can help fund the next medical breakthrough, get the next person trained in CPR, and get the next hospital certified in high-quality cardiovascular care. If this could happen to me, it could happen to anybody. Heart disease is America's #1 killer, but your support can save your life or the life of someone you love. Give $19 a month with your credit card and we'll send you this special t-shirt you can wear to show you're part of a community of monthly donors working to help save more lives like mine. I'm grateful for the American Heart Association. Their research gave me more time to do the things I love with the people I love. So listen to your heart. I'm here today because I did. Please call the number on your screen or go to helpheart.org now to become a monthly donor and help save even more lives. Thank you.
Many of my clients ask me, how can I afford to buy my next home, but also make sure my current home sells? That's why who you work with matters. With HomeLight, we're able to help clients buy and sell at the same time with all of the certainty and none of the stress. It's the most game-changing solution in real estate today. Together with HomeLight, we've helped clients win the home of their dreams every time.
Welcome back. I'm Tiffany Meyer. February 6th marks Ronald Reagan's 115th birthday commemoration. His ideas continue to shape debates over economic freedom, limited government, and American leadership. Former Speaker of the House Kevin McCarthy said Reagan believed in America. NTD's Christina Corona has more.
We're here at the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library in the city of Simi Valley, where officials and supporters gathered to honor and celebrate President Reagan on what would have been his 115th birthday. The ceremony includes a military honor, an official White House wreath, and remarks by former House Speaker Kevin McCarthy. The ceremony began with military honors, music by the Camp Pendleton Marine Division Band, a 21-gun salute, and a flyover. Former House Speaker Kevin McCarthy delivered the keynote address. McCarthy praised Reagan for his accomplishments, saying that even on his birthday, it was Reagan who gave Americans the gifts.
That gift is the gift of the ability to apply the traditions of the past to a changing future.
McCarthy said Reagan helped change America.
When Reagan took office, inflation was at 13%, interest rates hitting 20%, and unemployment was high. People had lost faith. In response, Reagan cut taxes. He slashed regulation. He unleashed free enterprise, and he made it easier for Americans to save and start a family.
McCarthy also shared 3 lessons he learned from President Reagan.
Lesson number 1. Peace without freedom is meaningless. Lesson number 2. Trust ordinary people to control their own destinies. And lesson 3. America is too great for small visions.
Organizers say Reagan's legacy is still important today.
President Reagan believed so much in America, American pride, optimism, the future, freedom and democracy, all things that are as just important today as they were for Ronald Reagan's era, as they were for our founding fathers.
The Ronald Reagan Presidential Library opened in 1991 and features the Reagan's burial site along with exhibits highlighting his presidency.
In 2005, we opened up a second portion which houses the actual Air Force One aircraft he flew on. When you come to the Reagan Library, you tour through that plane. We have a full-scale replica of the Oval Office. You get to walk through a real piece of the Berlin Wall. It's Ronald Reagan's life and story from childhood through his passing, his presidency in the 80s.
Giller says visiting the Reagan Library is a way for people to learn more about American history, no matter their political party.
And just a really important way to learn about American history as a whole, the American presidency as a whole. And then both President and Mrs. Reagan are buried here, just sort of over my shoulder, which is where the location is for today's event. So it's a really good way to, whether you're Republican or not a Republican, into presidential history or not into presidential history, just a way to sort of learn about that time in America's history.
Organizers say the annual tribute is meant to preserve President Reagan's legacy and to remind future generations of his impact on the country. Reporting from Simi Valley, California, Christina Corona, NTD News.
Kay and Tay Dudley are social media creators known for turning candid moments from their daily lives into viral videos. From a spontaneous, lighthearted clip that first reached 1 million views to deeply personal stories about pregnancy and parenthood. They say their success comes from staying real and relatable. In this conversation, they reflect on family, vulnerability, and why audiences connect with authenticity over perfection. Take a look.
Can you talk to us about some of your, videos that actually went viral and then you were surprised, and what made the difference in those videos?
Yeah, I can remember the first one that ever went viral, and it was, it's so silly. Kay was sitting on a couch and there's like a doorway, and I come around the corner and I'm wearing an oven mitt on my foot. As like a
high heel.
And so the thumb of the oven mitt looks like a heel, and then the rest of my foot's in the other part. And I'm just kind of moving my foot around and eating grapes. So it's just a really candid, silly moment.
We put music over it.
And we put some music over it, and Kay was just cracking up. And we posted it, and it just started going off, and it got 1 million views and then 2 million views. And I can remember Kay just in awe at the amount of people. And
at the point it had 700 views. We have a video where you're filming me and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. 700 people have looked at our video, and I just thought it was so insane, because at that point, we were getting 10, 15 views a video, and they were probably all our family.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought that was so cool. And at that point I was telling myself maybe I can do this for a living with 700 views. Yeah. No, but it ended up going to 1 million. That was our first viral video. And then after that, I think that's when we really were like, hey, we made 1 million views. We can do this.
We can do this again.
Let's get another 1 million views. And then at some point we made the goal that every video had to have 1 million views. And we've stayed consistent with that goal now. We have 1 million on each video, so it's pretty cool.
Now, what do you think it is, based on feedback or your thoughts, that makes it so engaging with the audience and there's so many people that love your content?
I think a lot of it probably is just the fact that we are just being real and raw and kind of giving our day-to-day life. I think a lot of people try to make up a life online. And I think the audience can see through that, and we just show our life. And it's funny because we'll post something that you might think, like, the idea itself might sound really boring, and then it'll be super viral. Like, I think 2 days ago, we posted a video of cooking's up with Toscana. And I think on TikTok right now, it's like 5-6 million views. So I don't know. We're not flashy. We're not crazy. We just kind of live our life and we post about it and people watch it.
Yeah. We try to be relatable, the good, the bad, the happy, the sad, all the moments of life.
We're not scared to show emotions. Kale cry, tell some emotions. It's no big deal because it's real. And we don't want someone to feel like ashamed, in real life because they don't see those emotions online. A big thing was like during the pregnancy journey, Kay wasn't scared to open up and explain her emotions about things, that might have been hard topics. And I think it helped a lot of people to say, you know what, I had that problem too and never said anything and kind of things like that.
Can you talk to us a bit about the importance of family, how important you see a family and kids and because this is pretty much what you're showing every day and people seem to love it, which is great. But just tell us more about the values.
Yeah, for me, I'm sure Kay agrees, like family is the best part of this job. We get to be parents as a job. We get to spend all our day, all our time with our kids and hang out and play and go do fun experiences in life. And, that's honestly, it's like, to me, it's like the point of life. You know what I mean? It's like it's the most enjoyable thing in my life is being a husband and a father. And we love it. We try to support positive relationships and positive family dynamic. And, we're always, like I was saying, like being vulnerable in times to support that message for sure.
Yeah, we definitely don't want to ever come across as like the perfect family or the perfect couple or anything like that by any means. But we do try to like show that, the realistic sides of life with marriage and children and how it can be hard, but it can also be beautiful. And like he said, it's just beautiful that we get to do this for a living and be with our children every single day. Like, so blessed.
It's funny. A comment that I see a lot is always like, I swore that I was never going to have kids, but I have the worst baby fever right now, things like that. So
yeah, we've probably got a lot of people having kids now. Yeah. I love it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
South Korean crypto exchange BitHum apologizes for the accidental giveaway of more than $40 billion worth of Bitcoin during a promotion. The company insists there was no hacking or security breach. Regulators say they are reviewing the incident and will conduct on-site inspections if irregularities are found.
South Korea's BitHum crypto exchange has apologized for a $44 billion mistake after accidentally giving away 620,000 Bitcoins as part of a customer reward campaign. The company said it had restricted trading and withdrawals for the 695 affected customers shortly after the error on Friday, and that it had recovered 99.7% of the Bitcoins as of Saturday night. The exchange had planned to distribute small cash rewards of 2,000 Korean won, worth about $1.4 or more to each user as part of a promotional event. But instead, winners received at least 2,000 Bitcoins each, media reports said. In a statement, BitHum said the incident was unrelated to external hacking or security breaches, and there were no problems with system security or customer asset management. But South Korea's financial regulators, including the Financial Services Commission, said the incident has exposed the vulnerabilities and risks of virtual assets. After an emergency meeting, the regulators said in a statement they would review BitHum and other crypto exchanges' internal control systems, as well as their holdings and operations of virtual assets. And if irregularities are found, an on-site inspection would be launched, the statement said. Bitcoin is the world's largest cryptocurrency. Charts from BitHum Exchange show Bitcoin prices briefly slumped 17% on Friday evening after the incident, but later recovered.
Coming up, Shen Yun Performing Arts gave 3 performances in West Palm Beach, Florida. Audience members were dazzled by the colors and artistry of the show. Find out more after the break.
Restaurant quality pho with no wait. In just 4 minutes, you get bold, authentic Vietnamese flavor with Pholicious. Available in beef or chicken. Crafted from real beef tallow or chicken, it's comforting and full of tradition. Just add your favorite fresh extras. Every bowl comes packed with everything you need for the ultimate pho experience and ready in minutes. Bring the bold, authentic flavors of Vietnam straight to your home. Pholicious is now available at Walmart or walmart.com.
I trod on my glasses yesterday, and I had to pay up front for a new pair that I can't even pick up for another 10 days. So I looked for another way, and I found Select Specs. I ordered online. My new glasses just arrived this morning, and I can pay over the next few weeks. This is the way to buy glasses.
See now, pay later with Select Specs. Next day delivery and deferred payment options. Only at selectspecs.com.
This is such a gentle painting, so beautifully portrayed.
A group of people reading together in this simple, everyday-looking living room. A young girl reading along with an adult, a grandparent sitting in the lotus position, a businessman in his typical suit.
You see all those people, they look like they have quietly settled down there. And you as a viewer, it looks like you've just stepped in the door.
You can't see what it is they're reading, so you're a little bit curious and you're kind of invited to walk in.
This harmonious feeling is not by accident. It is the very subject of the work. The book they are reading is the main text of Falun Gong, which is an ancient Chinese spiritual discipline in the Buddhist tradition. At the core of Falun Gong are the values of truthfulness, compassion, and forbearance. Unfortunately, the practice is banned in China, where the artist resides. Thousands have been killed for their faith. Golden energy blooms into the room as a result of their steadfast faith. The painting on the back wall reminds us of this work's title, Plum Blossoms in a Muddy World.
It's also a metaphor for the practitioners that are sitting in the room as plum blossoms.
They signify perseverance and hope that all brutal winters end and life is renewed once again.
The magical painting.
Welcome back. I'm Tiffany Meyer. Shen Yun Performing Arts has been touring the world since December, bringing audiences a glimpse of 5,000 years of traditional Chinese culture, a history the Chinese Communist regime has long tried to suppress. And while true art speaks directly to the heart, artists from different walks of life say Shen Yun goes even deeper. A best-selling author who attended the performance in West Palm Beach, Florida, says the show helped her get in touch with her inner self. Take a listen.
I found that it was very engrossing. Like, I just wanted to be a part of it. The music was amazing. Just from a cultural standpoint, it was very educational as well. And I really, really like that a lot. It's really getting in touch with your inner self and being true to it, which creates the flow. And they definitely were expressing that. So from the soul, from the inside out.
The scenography is just unbelievable. I never thought it would be anything like this. You know, I'm gonna have to tell all my friends to come and get and see it too, because it's amazing.
I was very impressed with the production value. With what I do, I can put a lot of value into that. A lot of timing, a lot of preparation, a lot of talent. It's my first time. I'm blown away.
Shen Yun's mission is to revive 5,000 years of traditional Chinese culture and values from before communism. In addition to myths and legends, the company also portrays modern tales of courage in the face of China's brutal persecution of faith.
I just have to say the statement of the whole play and the courage is really what I'm blown away by. The freedom of religion, the freedom of faith is so important. And I know how much courage it takes to put on a play like this and how much pushback you must be getting. So my prayers are with everyone that's involved in this play, that, you know, the light can shine and this could stop.
Very, very positive message. I mean, anyone that undergoes persecution anyway, and if they're out there, you know, freedom fighting, and because they believe and they're doing the right thing, prayer and meditation, it's an incredible message, and you have that definitely weaved in throughout the entire storyline here.
Sheng Yun's performance also includes solo performances from singers and instrumentalists, which impressed some of the audience members.
The musical score was absolutely amazing. I mean, honestly, like it feels, it's a symphony, but it feels like any movie you would see, like a Christopher Nolan movie or whatever. You know, it's very consistent to really add to the theme of the overall message.
I'm used to it, to the Italian, opera, but I really loved the soprano and the bel canto, because this is what I studied for.
Amazing voices, amazing, in two different aspects, which just really brought it together. And they sang in such a space where it really brought their heart in particular, out, and just brought it out from, I believe, the audiences.
I love how they take the traditional Chinese instruments and add them into the orchestra. It adds such a nice element, makes it feel very authentically Chinese, which I love.
Sheng Yun will be in St. Petersburg, Florida from February 6th through the 8th. NTD News, West Palm Beach, Florida.
And Shen Yun will be in New York City in March. NTD is a proud media sponsor of Shen Yun, so be sure to visit shenyun.com for tickets to a performance near you. That's all for today's news. For round-the-clock coverage, visit us at ntd.com/live or download our NTD app. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Tiffany Meyer. Good night.